What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying your lives to the fullest today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2023 Jeep Wrangler two-door Willys. Huge thank you to Tyler.mcpherson over at Koons, Tysons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram for allowing me to do this review for you guys today. If you guys are interested in this particular two-door Willys or any Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram product, I'll be sure to have Tyler's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, first let's talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Willys, and this particular one has been painted in bright white clear coat. One of the first things I wanted to say pretty much right off the bat is that this is the two-door configuration, and the two-door configuration is about $3,500 cheaper than its four-door configuration counterpart. So just keep that in mind as you guys are shopping for a Wrangler Willys. But let's start over here at our headlights. So you guys do get LED headlights as well as LED daytime running lights and LED fog lights towards the bottom of your front bumper. And then also you guys do get standard turn signals. But working our way to the center of the front end, you get a gloss black 7-slot grille with that black mesh material. So the mesh material in your slots is like a satin, whereas the grille itself is that gloss black color. And then you also do get a satin black front bumper with gloss black accents surrounding your fog lights, as you may be able to see on screen. And then last but not least, you guys get two tow hooks on both sides, one right here, one right there. And then coming down just a tad bit more, you guys do get skid plates that cover your fuel tank, your transfer case, and your transmission. And then also with the Willys, you guys get 10.1 inches of ground clearance. But working our way down the side, you get a side marker light as well as satin black fender flares. You also do get these 17-inch Moab black wheels, and they are wrapped in a 32-inch Firestone Destination MT2 tire. And I'll give you guys a view of the tread pattern on that tire there real quick. These are definitely aggressive, and this is pretty much a very well equipped out of the box off-roader. But with the Willys, also you guys do get Rubicon shocks, as you can see on screen right now. And then obviously with the Willys, you guys get this Willys lettering on both sides of your hood. You guys get the satin black trail rated badge as well as a satin black Jeep emblem. Coming down, it says Wrangler, and you get the American flag on the end of that. Satin black side view mirrors. These side view mirrors are heated and power adjustable. Obviously, this being a Jeep, you can remove the doors and the top. Now, speaking of the top, this particular one has been optioned with the $1,895 black 3-piece hardtop, which basically you get the two Freedom tops in the front, and then this whole piece comes off as one in the back. And then you also get a wiper and a rear window defogger with that package as well. On the front two doors, you get that black window trim as well as satin black door handles. This particular one has been optioned with the $1,095 technology group, which gives you guys keyless access. So pretty much all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by pressing on that button right there, and you can hear that the vehicle has locked. And then at the bottom of your passenger doors, you guys get these steel rock rails. So basically, instead of high centering yourself on your rocker panel, you have these rock rails because it's a lot cheaper to replace this rock rail than it is to replace your rocker panel. But coming down, again, satin black fender flares. That is a look at your rear wheel and tire setup. Very easy to fill up your vehicle. You don't have to open up a fuel door. All you got to do is twist that to the left to open it, and then obviously, you know, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Working our way to the back end, you guys get incandescent taillights. There is a package that you can get LED taillights. I don't know the name of that package. I'll put it on screen, but this one has incandescent taillights. You also do get a full-size spare tire as standard with the Willys. And then you have your backup camera located at the center of that. You also get a satin black rear bumper as well as one tow hook on the driver's side of that rear bumper. One thing that's interesting to me is that your license plate light is LED. Thought I might point that out to those interested. And then you also get an anti-spin rear axle as well as a 345 axle ratio and a 17.5-gallon fuel tank capacity. But before we move on, you also do get a keyless access little function back here as well. But this is what your trunk looks like. So it swings open this way and it goes about right there. So about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more than 90 degrees of an opening angle. And then this top piece also opens up as well. And again, this is the two-door, so really not all that much space back here. You know, this is about probably, you know, 2.5 feet of storage space from the door to the seat back, but you can also fold these seats back down just a tad, and then you get a little bit more storage space. But over here, you get a 12-volt power outlet, you get a little light right there, and you know, that's kind of about it for the back end of the Wrangler. So again, 3-piece hardtop, you get the wiper and the rear window defroster, but really that's kind of about it for what we got going on the outside anyway of the 2023 Wrangler Willys. Now here's a little side profile of the Willys. I like the white on the black. I think it looks really, really good, especially, you know, considering you get that gloss black front grille. I always like black accenting on vehicles. Again, that's just personal preference, but I think this thing looks really, really sweet. And if you guys are looking for, you know, a deal, because honestly these things are pretty darn expensive, you know, I'll get into the pricing of this later on in the video, but I did a video with a 2-door Wrangler Rubicon a couple months back, and that one was almost $60,000. So obviously that's a little bit more capable than this, actually quite a bit more capable than this, but anyways, that is very, very expensive. But let's move along and let's go into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that $4,250 3.6 liter V6 that makes 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and if you guys were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 20 miles per gallon in the city, 24 miles per gallon on the highway, for 21 miles per gallon combined with 4-wheel drive. But if you guys are enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I am now on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your guys' help. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned to you guys earlier on in the video, with the $1,095 technology group, you guys do get keyless access. So all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by pressing on that button right there, and the vehicle will lock. Now, another function that this key fob does have that is optional is that with the $1,395 cold weather group, you also do get remote start. So we might as well listen to that. So all you got to do to remote start the vehicle is press this button twice, 2 beeps, and it starts up. And that is what the 3.6 liter sounds like when it fires up. But moving on into the interior, it is a Jeep Wrangler, so the door panel is relatively, so the door panel is relatively basic. I'm sorry, I had to turn down the radio because of a copyright infringement that I could potentially get. But taking a look at the door panel itself, again, very basic. You get some mesh down here basically as your pocket. You get an aluminum door handle, power side view mirror controls, unlock, and your lock functions, and that's really about it for the door panel. Again, it's a Jeep, so these doors are removable, and they are removable very, very easily. But you do get a manually adjustable driver's seat and a manually adjustable front passenger seat. But like I just mentioned to you guys, this does have the $1,395 cold weather group, and that package gives you guys heated front seats and a heated steering wheel. But stepping on into the interior of the Willys, you may be able to see that you get a little productivity screen at the center of that gauge cluster, but we'll get into that in a second. I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit. But over here you have your headlight controls. All the way to the left, headlights off, that's daytime running lights on, that's headlights always on, and then twisting all the way to the right is your headlights in the automatic position, and then that will turn your fog lights on or off. This is to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster and your backlit buttons. And then you do get a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. What I mean by that is that it will come towards you, it'll go away from you, and then you can also move it up and down as well. But let's take a listen to our turn signal. That is what your turn signal sounds like. Not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your high beam control stock. And then behind this side of the steering wheel, you have your tuning controls. So again, behind the left-hand side of the steering wheel, about right here, you have your tuning controls. And then behind this side of the steering wheel over here on the right-hand side, you have your volume control. So just keep that in mind as you guys are learning about your Jeep. One thing that's kind of interesting is that with the black 3-piece hardtop, that gives you guys a leather-wrapped steering wheel. So you get a leather-wrapped steering wheel, which is very nice with some black stitching. At the center, obviously it says Jeep, and that is where you will find your horn. Let's take a listen. That is what the horn sounds like on the Wrangler. Coming over here, you have these different arrows and this OK button. That is to control your productivity screen located at the center of your dash. And that productivity screen is a 7-inch productivity screen, and that comes a part of the $1,095 technology group. We'll get into that here in a second, but that is to pick up on a phone call, that is to speak to the vehicle, and that is to hang up on a phone call. And then on the right-hand side of your steering wheel, you have your cruise control settings, as well as your windshield wiper control stock for your front windshield wipers and your rear wiper. But let's go throughout our dash. So on the left hand side, you have your RPM gauge, as well as this lets you know if you're in 2 high, 4 high, true neutral, or 4 low. And then that is your analog speedometer. At the center, that is your digital speedometer readout. That's your compass. That is the ambient exterior temperature. That's your coolant temperature gauge. And then that is your fuel gauge. That's your transmission status, letting us know that we are in park. And then all the way at the bottom is your odometer. Clicking down this arrow right here will bring you into this screen. So this is your vehicle information screen. You can see your tire pressure stuff, your coolant temperature, your trans temperature, your oil pressure, your oil life, and your battery voltage. Clicking down like that will bring you into your off-road screen, which basically you can see your drivetrain stuff and your pitch and roll stuff. Clicking that down arrow again, this is your fuel economy screen. That's another fuel economy screen, basically like your trip A and your trip B information. Same kind of stuff right there, just a different layout. That's some other stuff. This is your audio stuff. Coming down one more, you got your stored messages. This is your screen setup. So basically you can adjust what's up there. You can adjust what's up there, or you can go into like the default stuff. You can do the current gear if you wanted to, the odometer. Basically, you can adjust this screen as you like, but basically I like to leave it on this screen personally. So if this was my vehicle, I'd want my digital speedometer readout displaying at all times. But coming up top here, you get a speaker as well as some storage space. You could set a phone, a GoPro, a tape measure, or something of that size up top here. You could also set your key fob up there if you wanted to as well. Push button start right there. And then coming our way to the right just a little bit, this is the standard screen. So this is a 7-inch infotainment system, and it is a Uconnect 4 infotainment system with wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. So it's basically like the same screen in like the Rubicon, which is the 8-inch screen, but basically it's just an inch smaller. So pretty much works the exact same. You get your shortcut buttons on the bottom of the screen. So you got your radio, your media, your climate, your apps, your controls, your phone, and your settings. Basically, if you go into your controls, you can turn the heated seats and the heated steering wheel on through the screen. You can also pop up your backup camera while you are driving, by the way, if you wanted to do that as well. And then you can go between your different settings. But up top here, you have your current time and the ambient exterior temperature. Radio is basically like your AM, your FM, and your Sirius XM. Media is basically like your Bluetooth audio, your USB stuff, and stuff like that. And then you can bring your climate control stuff on the screen if you wanted to as well. Here are your different apps. That's one apps page. This is your second apps page. I already showed you guys the controls, and then you have your different settings over here. So you can basically adjust the clock. You can go to your driver assistance settings, your lights, your doors and locks, etc., etc. Very, very easy to use. It's a very intuitive system. You also get 4 HVAC vents on the dash, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the dash itself is kind of like painted in like a gray type of color. It's actually looks pretty good. And then coming down just a tad bit more, this is your volume knob, this is your tuning knob, and this is your fan speed control knob for your HVAC system. Also with that $1,095 technology package, you get automatic temperature control. So basically the system will control the temperature if you want it to. Personally, I don't need that. I can kind of control the temperature myself, but if you wanted to control the temperature, but if you wanted the vehicle to control the temperature, it can do that as well. But basically, you get heated front seats with 3 levels of adjustability with that cold weather group, and same with the cold weather group, you get the heated steering wheel with 1 level of adjustability. Dual zone climate control. This is to turn auto stop start on or off. This is to turn traction control on or off. That's your hazard button. This is basically like your off-road cruise control button, and then this will turn the screen off. Touch anywhere on the screen and it will come right back on. That will mute the audio system. And then coming down, you get a 12-volt power outlet. That is what that looks like. I think you get automatic down windows, but you do not get automatic up windows. I know that for a fact, actually. And then coming over to the right, you get a USB-C port, a USB-A port, and an auxiliary jack. And then you have a great spot. You could set a phone down under here if you wanted to, or you could set your key fob in there as well. One thing that I like about Jeeps, and one thing that I don't know how I feel about in modern vehicles, is that in a lot of modern vehicles, all you got to do is push a button and then it will go into four-wheel drive, or push a button and it'll go into four-wheel drive low. I'm not really that big of a fan of it, because in 30 years, is that still going to work? I don't know. But I know in a Jeep, boom, you got to pull down. Boom, you got to pull down to go into neutral. So this is basically a manual control, which is something that I like, because I know for a fact that this is still going to work 30 years down the road as long as I still have an arm. So that is something that I personally appreciate on the Jeeps, something that is actually, you know, actually pretty smart to put in a vehicle. But if you guys wanted to go into manual mode, go into drive, flip that over to the left, and then you push up to downshift, pull down to upshift, and then you can go back into park. I also like how you get the good old-fashioned pull emergency brake. So no, you don't get a button for the emergency brake, you get the good old-fashioned handbrake. That'll also last another 30 years. You get two cup holders here, a great spot. You could set a phone, you get a nicely padded and leather-wrapped armrest, you get a little bit of storage space up at the top, and then if you wanted to open it up all the way, you get another USB-A port down in there. I would say about 60% of my forearm fits down in there. So considering, you know, the size of this vehicle and what this vehicle is made to do, there's a good amount of storage space in your center console. You can see right here, it says Wrangler. You get a lockable glove box. Not the biggest glove box that I've ever seen, but you can fit your owner's manual and a couple other things. But just be mindful of what you put in there, because there's really not all that much space down in there. Get a standard rear view mirror right here that lets you know if your passenger airbag is on or off. This particular one has also been optioned with the $795 convenience group, and that basically just gives you this universal garage door opener. So if you own a house with 3 different garage bays, you can open up those 3 different garage bays individually with these 3 different buttons. Opening this up, you get a vanity mirror with 2 vanity lights. The Willys does give you the vanity mirror and the vanity lights. Then you get this little clip right here. You can set money, registration, or any small paper product. And then opening this up, this is what your visor looks like, and it will slide forwards and backwards, which is always nice. With that black 3-piece hardtop that I mentioned, you do get these 2 freedom tops, so you can take these tops off individually. I do believe you do have to take one of the tops off first, which I believe you have to take the driver's side off first in order to get the passenger side off. So you could theoretically take these 2 off individually. I know you just have to take one of them off first before you take the other one off. And then the door panel on that side looks pretty much the exact same as the door panel on the driver's side. Now, I want to go over the couple different packages that this has. So this does have the $1,095 technology group, which gives you the keyless access, the 7-inch productivity screen, and the automatic temperature control. This also has the $1,395 cold weather group, which gives you remote start, heated front seats, and the heated steering wheel, as well as the $795 convenience group gives you that universal garage door opener. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You guys can take a look at all the standard stuff, all the optional stuff, the fuel economy, and potentially the warranty stuff if that's what you wanted to take a look at. But basically, I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2023 Wrangler 2-door Willys is spec'd is $49,250. I believe this one's selling for like $42,000 at Koons, Tysons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. So if you guys are looking to get a considerable amount off of MSRP, you might want to pick this one up, because this one is considerably cheaper than the MSRP. But I do want to show you guys what we got going on in these rear seats. This is a 2-door vehicle after all, so there's really not going to be that much space for me in the second row, but I might as well test it out regardless. You get a dome light up top here. You get these individual lights as well. That is what that looks like. You get a speaker, you get another speaker, and with the top off, these Jeeps are super fun. You get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat. You also get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. You also get these 2 HVAC vents back here, as well as 2 cup holders at the bottom. I guess I might as well show you guys that really, you can be comfortable back here if you guys kind of split the difference between the driver and the passenger here in the rear. But just keep in mind, there's really not all that much space in the back of the two-door. So if you guys have a family and you're looking at getting a Jeep, I'd suggest getting the four-door. There's just more space, it's more practical. But you know, if you guys are looking for a fun second vehicle or a fun daily driver, you're a single person, or you know, maybe you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, basically this is like a 2-passenger vehicle and a 4-passenger vehicle if you really need it to be. But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior of the two-door Wrangler. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, guys, and now on to the driving portion of the review, where this thing is actually pretty fun to drive. And I did a video with a 2023 Bronco Badlands last week, and when I was driving that, I was like, man, this thing is just, it's such a great summer vehicle. It's so fun because you can take the top off, you can take the doors off, you can actually do some off-roading with this thing. You know, you're not going to do any crazy like rock crawling or anything like that like you could with a Rubicon, but really, like, for the majority of those of you guys out there who are looking for a fun two-door Wrangler daily driver that you can occasionally take off-road if you wanted to, I think this is a great vehicle for you. Reason being is that it doesn't ride terrible. It does ride like a Jeep, and if you've ever driven a Jeep, you know what I'm talking about. It is a little bit bouncy, but it still rides pretty well. You know, the fuel economy is decent. It's a 4-wheel drive off-roader that you can have fun with. You can take the top off and just have a blast with your friends. It looks pretty sweet. It's got pretty aggressive 32-inch Firestone Destination MT2 tires, so that's pretty cool. The only like kind of nags I guess I'll talk to you guys about is that you guys have probably seen this in every other review video that you guys have ever watched of a Jeep Wrangler, but they are pretty noisy on the inside because after all, you can take the top off, and you can take the top off, you know, solo if you wanted to. So they try to make these composite pieces light. So with that said, you know, you really don't have that much sound deadening. So at about, you know, 80 miles an hour, it's going to be pretty loud in here. So just, you know, keep that in mind. But it's not going to be obnoxiously loud, but it is going to be, you know, it's going to be, you're going to hear the road noise, you're going to hear the tires, because, you know, this is an off-road vehicle. However, this would be such a great beach town cruiser. It's such a great summer vehicle, fall vehicle, spring vehicle, because you can take the Freedom tops off individually if you wanted to. You can take the entire top off if you wanted to. It's just, they're slow, but they're just a lot of fun to drive because you can pretty much drive through anything. You can take the top off, you can feel that fresh air. It's just a really fun vehicle. It looks sweet. It doesn't drive amazing. It drives like a Jeep, but that's what you expect. You know, you're not buying this to be the most refined vehicle that you've ever driven. If you're, you know, looking for something like that, then you're going to look at a Mercedes, you're going to look at an Audi, you're going to look at a Lincoln or a Cadillac. But if you're looking for something that has a cool factor to it, it's fun, then this is the vehicle for you. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fun to drive. It's actually pretty comfortable in the driver's seat. It's easy to drive, especially here with the two-door, because, I mean, the two-door isn't very long, so it's not that hard to park. You do come with it comes standard with a backup camera. You get this 7-inch screen. So overall, I mean, it is a pretty nice vehicle. It's just, it is rather expensive. You know, $42,000 for this, that's a lot of money. But you know, you're getting a pretty good vehicle for $42,000. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's pretty much out of the box, ready to go, do some serious off-roading. Like, you could drive up that, no problem. You can pretty much drive up that with a CRV, but you know what I'm saying? You can pretty much go over any sort of terrain with this. And you know, you really have to throw something pretty darn difficult at it in order to get it stuck. You know what I'm saying? So pretty damn capable off-roader, out of the box. It's a lot of fun to drive. Drives like a Jeep. The sound system's pretty good. You get 8 speakers for this small little area. So, you know, you turn this thing all the way up, you're still cruising at 60 miles an hour. You can still hear your music. And honestly, for a standard sound system, the speaker system is actually pretty good. So, it's overall, it's a fun vehicle. It looks good. It's just got that cool factor to it, like I mentioned. So overall, if you guys are interested in this one, I'll be sure to have Tyler's information in the description box down below. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm now on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your guys' help. So if you did take anything from this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. But again, that's it for today's video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.